At Sunday dinner, my mother-in-law announced, "Your only purpose is to breed like a good female dog." She said it while passing the mashed potatoes like she was commenting on the weather, and my husband Daniel kept eating while his father nodded in agreement, and I sat there with my fork frozen halfway to my mouth. "We've been married 3 years. You should have produced at least 2 grandchildren by now. Even animals breed faster." She looked at me with disgust while Daniel's sister Amy smirked from across the table. "Mom's right. What's wrong with you? Are you broken?" I looked at Daniel waiting for him to defend me, but he just shrugged. "They have a point. We should have kids by now." What he didn't tell them was that he'd had a vasectomy before we met, and never reversed it because he didn't want children. "We're focusing on our careers right now." My mother-in-law Barbara laughed. "Career? You're a woman. Your career is making babies. That's what Daniel married you for." She turned to her son. "I told you to pick someone younger. This one's 32. Her eggs are practically rotten." Daniel's father Robert chimed in. "Should have married Jennifer. She's 23 and comes from fertile stock. Her mother had 6 kids. Jennifer was Daniel's ex who'd cheated on him, but apparently that didn't matter. I have a doctorate. I run a research lab. I'm not just a breeding machine." Barbara slammed her hand on the table. "Degrees don't make grandbabies. You're useless to this family without children. We should have had the marriage annulled when you didn't get pregnant the first year." Amy added her opinion. "I gave Mom 3 grandchildren. Real women know their purpose." Amy was twice divorced and her kids were raised by nannies, but she'd reproduced, so she was valuable. "Daniel, tell them about your decision." I looked at my husband, but he shook his head slightly. He wanted to keep his vasectomy secret. "What decision?" Barbara leaned forward, suspicious. Daniel cleared his throat. "We're trying. These things take time." He threw me under the bus completely. Barbara turned her attention back to me. "Trying isn't enough. I've made you an appointment with a fertility specialist. Tuesday at 9. You'll go and get tested to see what's wrong with you." She pulled out a card and slid it across the table. "This doctor will fix whatever's broken in your defective body." I pushed the card back. "I'm not going. My body isn't broken." Barbara stood up furious. "Then you're choosing to deny me grandchildren? You're that selfish?" Robert joined in. "We invested in this marriage. We paid for the wedding expecting a return. Grandchildren from our son. They'd paid for appetizers at the wedding. Everything else came from my savings. Children aren't investments or returns. They're human beings." Barbara walked around the table and stood over me. "You're nothing but a vessel. A failed vessel. If you can't produce, you should step aside for someone who can." She looked at Daniel. "Divorce her. We'll find you someone appropriate. Young, fertile, obedient." That's when I'd had enough. Daniel had a vasectomy 5 years before he met me. He's the one who can't have children. The table exploded. Barbara screamed at Daniel. Robert threw his wine glass. Amy laughed hysterically. "You lied to us? You let us blame her?" Daniel tried to salvage it. "I was going to reverse it eventually, but I wasn't done." "No, you weren't. You have the consultation papers in your desk where you decided against reversal. You never wanted kids, but you let your family torture me for 3 years." Barbara turned on Daniel. "You're defective? You're the broken one?" The language she'd used on me now aimed at her precious son. "I can't have grandchildren from you?" Daniel tried to explain, but Barbara was beyond listening. "We gave you everything. Private schools, college, a house down payment. Also, you'd give us grandchildren to carry on the family name." I stood up to leave, but had one more thing to say. "By the way, Barbara, Amy's children, they're not Robert's grandchildren. Amy told me when she was drunk. She had affairs. All 3 kids have different fathers." Amy went white. "That's not true. You're lying." "But I had receipts. You told me at Christmas. You were laughing about how Robert thinks the kids look like him, but they don't." Robert stared at Amy. "Is this true?" Amy couldn't answer. The family portrait they'd been so proud of was built on lies. I walked out while they screamed at each other. Daniel followed, begging me to come back. "Please, we can work this out." But I was done. "You let your mother call me a breeding dog. You're as sick as they are."